Today we're tackling one of my spiciest takes around networking. It's about advice that's been floating around for a long time, and that's that you need to start by giving value. I'm a big thumbs down on this, and we're going to talk about why. Welcome to the Creating Opportunities podcast. This is a place where we help smart, ambitious professionals create better relationships for success. And why? Because people matter. They're messy, but they make life better and they matter. And I am your host, Cassandra. I am a speaker, trainer, an iced coffee lover. It's important you know that. And I am here to help you make deeper connections. So let's get into it. I feel like we've moved past the place where people think networking is just being a user and just taking from people. And instead, the big advice that goes around is give value, make sure you give first. And automatically with the word give is this idea of value. But here's the thing. What if I told you all that giving value is actually holding you back from making better relationships that can pay off in the long run? There's actually 3 big problems with this give value mindset, and today we're going to talk about them. So if you've been told give, and you're doing it and it just doesn't seem to be working, you are in the right place. Let's talk about why giving value is often misunderstood and what to do instead. As I was saying, often now when you hear people talking about networking, we have pivoted to a better place, but a misunderstood place of give value. You need to give in networking. It's not all about you. But this advice can be really misleading or really misunderstood, and there's 3 big reasons why. First, giving value sounds like it's really unselfish, but it's actually super selfish. Why? Because when you're trying to give value, which by the way, I've said it enough already, if this were a drinking game, we'd all be on the floor. When we're focused on that giving value, we're focused on us. We are thinking about how can I impress them? How can I do something that gets their attention? What can I say or share that makes them want to get to know me? Who was all the focus on? You as the giver, not the person on the receiving end. It's honestly then focused on trying to position yourself a sort of way. There's a lot of ego caught up in it, and it can often backfire. Because here's the thing, it doesn't feel like a genuine connection if you're thinking about it that hard and like trying to think about what can I do. The other person can often read through that. Now, in a minute, we will talk about the thing that takes the pressure totally off you. But first, we have to talk about the second reason why giving value is not the way to go. And this is the big one for me. You might be giving unsolicited advice. You might be giving totally unsolicited advice that no one asked for. This pairs with number 1. Often what I see is somebody has been told, I have to give value, and so they go, okay, I need to think about something that I can share with them that will help them. And I listened to their podcast, and the audio quality could have been a little bit better. So let me send them an email and let them know, hey, I really like your podcast, but I think your audio quality would be better if you bought this microphone or did this thing instead. Well, you think you're helping, but you also just insulted them. You're jumping in with suggestions or ideas that this person didn't ask for. And while I know you are trying to be helpful, it is not coming off as helpful to the other person. Like if I just walked up to somebody on the street and said, hey, I think your shirt would look better if you tucked it in, they would be like, who are you? Right? But people do that in emails and comments and LinkedIn messages all the time. You think you're giving value and you're giving unsolicited help that no one asked for. Basically, not a great start to a relationship, right? So something I would probably avoid. And then the third, and this is the big one to me, when we still are looking at networking relationships as give and take of like, oh yeah, before I take anything, I have to give. You have to give first, give value first. We are still thinking transactionally. It is still a transactional relationship. It's just the direction the transaction is going in. And with that, then there's no room to just be and for the other person to just be. Think about it. If you are in a friendship, and I use this all the time, but like if you were in a friendship where it's you calling them and going, hey, I just wanted to say I'd be happy to pick up your kids from school. And they go, oh my gosh, that's so great. And then the next time you talk, they go, hey, I thought of you today. I got you a coffee, thought I'd drop it off at your house. And they go, that's so nice. And then the next time you say, oh, by the way, could you come to the dinner I'm hosting next week as a fundraiser? I'd really appreciate it. And they went, no problem. And everything was a transaction. That's an exhausting relationship. If your marriage was only transactions, whether you are the giver or the receiver, right? If you are asking or giving, taking, etc., if everything was transactional, that is an exhausting relationship. And so same with this. When we talk about give value, we are still talking in terms of transactions. And honestly, that's not how real relationships work in our personal lives. So why are we trying to make them work that way in our professional lives? Work relationships or networking professional relationships are still relationships, which means a lot of it is just keeping in touch and letting people be. Are you missing out on valuable opportunities because networking makes you anxious? My on-demand workshop, Confidently Connect, Overcoming Networking Nerves for In-Person Events, is your shortcut. Join me to learn how to confidently approach groups, introduce yourself smoothly, and turn those conversations into real opportunities. These are the same strategies I have used to land clients, get speaking gigs, and create lifelong relationships. Click the button below to learn more and get access now. If you're listening to this, it's in the show notes, and I look forward to hearing how you use these tips to create your own success. Okay, so after all that, what is the alternative? What do we do? If you're like, okay, Cassandra, I get it. You don't want me to give value first. Doesn't mean you can't give people valuable information down the road, but not first all the time. What do we do instead? I want you to go to a mindset of caring. You are just going to be the person who cares for other people. It sounds revolutionary in today's world. People don't give others care the way they should. This, number one, should take a lot of pressure off. You do not need to look impressive. You just need to be the person who cares for somebody else. So when you see someone get a new job online, you go, congratulations. When you just think of them today, you message them and say, hey, I was thinking of you. How are you doing? You are a person who cares. Now you don't have to worry about how smart you look. You know who somebody wants to work with, do business with, etc.? The person who cares for them. So if you're the one who says, hey, I heard you on that podcast the other day, and I really love when you said this, I'm going to use that in my business now. That means just as much, if not more, than going, hey, I saw this article and I think you need to be using it. So instead of worrying about giving value and thinking about like, what's this impressive, you just get to be a human being and they just get to be a human being too. There's no agenda. There's no ulterior motive. You're literally just showing care for someone. And hopefully that care will be reciprocated so that one day when you need something, when you need to make an ask, you feel permission to make the ask. Right? It's not a big deal. And vice versa. They feel okay making asks as well because, hey, this is somebody who cares for me. I can ask this of them. Instead of, oh, well, let's see. They gave me this value and they did this favor, so now I can make an ask. It doesn't have to be that way. Honestly, caring shifts the entire focus. It's about being genuinely curious and kind and putting other people first. Something we don't do a lot. Like, we talk a lot about kindness, but we actually don't talk a lot about care. Care is looking out for somebody and going, what do you need? How can I help you? We could do a whole other episode on having the bandwidth to care for people. Some of us have overscheduled ourselves that there's not room to care for others, yet we would love for someone to care for us. But here's how I know this is rare. People have no problem going on the internet and sending people messages of saying, hey, improve this, or I saw this and you might like it, etc. But yet when, this is a deep example, but I've heard it, when somebody has a sick family member in the hospital, only 2 people reach out and say, hey, how are you doing? You guys, that's a problem. Like, we need more care in our society, including in our professional lives. Don't think, oh, because it's a professional relationship, it's not my place. It is. So go ahead and be the one who cares. Quit worrying about giving value. You don't know what's valuable to them. Being the person who said, hey, I thought of you today might be a lot more valuable than saying, hey, here's how I thought you could improve your podcast or improve your blog or add to your bottom line, blah, blah, blah. You don't know what's going to give value. So instead, focus on showing care. Now, one of the ways that you can show care is building trust. And there is a super simple way to build trust. I have another episode about it. It's under 8 minutes. You can go watch it here if it's on YouTube, or I'll put it in the show notes. If you're listening to this, go listen to that one next, and I'll see you over there. Bye.